They're rich, handsome, and adored, yet surrounded by whispers. No dating, no marriage, no scandals, just silence. And that silence has fueled endless gay rumors. Are these stars hiding love or simply protecting their hearts? Here are 10 Korean men whose mystery keeps the world guessing and whose secrets no one can prove. They call him the man who never ages, who never shows his face, who never loses his charm. For more than 2 decades, Lee Joon-gi has lived as a puzzle, surrounded by beauty and brilliance, a superstar, yet somehow invulnerable. Born in Busan, raised with quiet determination, Lee Joon-gi was never considered a star. He was considered too fragile, too weak, too alien to the film industry. But it was that difference, the soft curves of his face, the sharp gaze, that became his destiny. When The King and the Clown hit theaters in 2005, it was more than just a movie. It was a cultural earthquake. With his haunting, almost supernatural presence, Joon-gi redefined the image of a leading man. Suddenly, the androgynous beauty had a face, and that face belonged to him. Audiences across Asia fell in love with him, not just for his looks, but also for his emotions. Fragile, intense, deep, and human. But behind that cinematic power was a man who disappeared the moment the cameras stopped rolling. No scandals, no dating rumors, no late-night arguments, just silence and work. Working tirelessly. In an industry where rumors ran rampant, Lee Joon-gi built a fortress of privacy. While others struggled to hide their secrets, he mastered the art of mystery. Fans began calling him Mystery Boy, a nickname born not of gossip, but of admiration. Because no matter how hard you look, you will never find what he doesn't want you to see. As the years passed, his talent only deepened. Iljime, Orang, and The Magistrate, Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart Rio, Flower of Evil, each role became a new mask, but somehow another layer of his soul. In Flower of Evil, his character, a man hiding his past behind love and lies, felt strangely familiar. It was as if for a fleeting second Lee Joon-gi had given us a peek into his private world. But when the screen went dark, the curtain fell again. Today, with an estimated net worth of nearly $20 million, Lee Joon-gi is one of the most successful actors in Korea. But his true wealth lies not in money, it lies in control. Control of his image, control of his privacy, control of his story. In an age where fame exposes all, he remains one of the few who chooses silence over show. Some call it loneliness, others call it discipline. Maybe it's both. Maybe that's why his smile, warm but distant, is like a puzzle we'll never solve. He doesn't chase trends, he doesn't crave headlines. He's building a legacy with whispers instead of shouts. Because for Lee Joon-gi, mystery isn't a marketing tactic. It's survival. It's art. That's who he is. And maybe that's what keeps us watching. Not just for the next movie, but for the glimpse behind the curtain. What lurks beneath that timeless face? What secrets lurk behind those quiet eyes? No one really knows. And that's the magic. Lee Joon-gi doesn't need to reveal his secrets to be remembered. He's already remembered. In the glittering world of Korean entertainment, fame is loud, but Chang-wook remains a whisper. For more than 15 years, he has stood in the brightest spotlight, making millions admire him with every glance, every line, every heartbeat on screen. And yet, his private world is like a locked door that no one has ever opened. Born to perform, Chang-wook rose from humble beginnings to become one of Korea's most admired leading men. Today, his net worth is around $20 million, and his acting fees exceed $100,000 per episode, the mark of a true A-list star. But beyond the numbers, beyond the success, what really draws people in is his silence. The silence of who he is when the cameras stop rolling. For more than a decade, there have been questions, gentle, curious ones. Why is such a beloved, charming man still single? He has never dated publicly, never been involved in a scandal, never even hinted at an off-screen romance. Fans half-jokingly speculate that Chang-wook might be committed to his career for life. In the midst of the dazzling aura of fame, one commentator once said, "Is Chang-wook in love, or simply in love with perfection?" Part of his appeal lies in his duality. He is often described as a genderless guy, an actor whose beauty defies all stereotypes. His eyes are sharp, his demeanor gentle, a calm masculinity balanced by a quiet charm. It's this contrast, the balance of strength and gentleness, that makes him appealing to everyone, regardless of gender or background. And then there's his acting. When Chang-wook falls in love on screen, he doesn't just act, he feels. The chemistry he creates is so raw, so natural, that viewers can't help but wonder if those feelings come from something real. In The Worst of Evil, even his scenes with his male co-stars exude warmth, a natural, intimate, and genuine connection. Fans teasingly call it Chang-wook's universal level of chemistry. But Ji never explains. He doesn't deny. He doesn't confirm. He just smiles, that same serene, mysterious smile, and moves on to the next project. Perhaps it's his quiet rebellion, letting art speak where words can't. While others chase headlines, Chang-wook chases depth. He chooses solitude over ostentation, privacy over fame. And in a world obsessed with noise and ostentation, that restraint feels revolutionary. There's something poetic about the way he lives, almost like a modern legend written in real time. Every fan theory, every rumor, every question only deepens the mystery. And maybe that's exactly what he wants, because mystery has power. It keeps the story alive. And Chang-wook's story isn't about who he's with, it's about who he is. A man who has mastered not only the art of acting, but also the art of remaining hidden. He stands where emotion meets elegance, where fame meets silence. And from that silence, he captures the world. Perhaps that is the secret behind his magic. Perhaps that is why, after all these years, we still wonder, who is Chang-wook when the lights go out? And why does his mystery shine brighter than his fame? Some stars don't need scandal or noise to be remembered. Their silence speaks for itself. In a world where fame is fueled by exposure, one man stands out. Calm, elegant, untouchable. He doesn't chase attention, but every look attracts attention. That's Lee Dong-wook, the enigmatic figure of Korean drama, the man who turned mystery into his greatest masterpiece. For more than 2 decades, he has dominated the television screen with his strange elegance, a subtle, quietly seductive presence, as if he were born to exist between reality and fantasy. His eyes, deep, mysterious. His smile, courteous, distant. His silence, strong, sharp. In a culture where every detail of a celebrity's life is dissected, Lee Dong-wook remains an enigma, a riddle wrapped in a perfectly tailored suit. Declared the king of Korean drama, Lee has built a reputation few can match. His net worth, estimated at $30 million, is nothing compared to the enormous amount of mystery that surrounds him. Audiences admire him, but feel they never really know him. He walks the path of fame like a ghost, present, beloved, but always just out of reach. Through roles that blur gender lines and challenge masculine norms, Dong-wook has become what fans call a genderless icon. He exudes both regalness and vulnerability, soft features, a commanding presence. He doesn't need to speak loudly. His silence commands attention, and that silence, that mysterious restraint, has become his most distinctive mark. When Goblin aired, his chemistry with actor Gong Yoo created a cultural storm. The emotional depth between them was so real that fans around the world jokingly called them the immortal couple. It wasn't just a romance, it was a clash of souls, portrayed with rare authenticity. Dong-wook didn't chase the spotlight, he simply let the world feel it. In real life, he was a master of invisibility. No scandals, no gossip, no confirmed relationships. just work, discipline, and silence. Every appearance, every pause, every decision seems deliberate, not for fame, but for peace. And perhaps that is his greatest appeal, his courage to keep secrets in an age addicted to exposure. People wonder, why has he never married? Why does he reveal so little? Is his mystery part of his image or a shield against a world that demands too much? No one really knows, and perhaps that is why his appeal never fades. Every interview, every film, every rare glimpse becomes a piece of an unfinished portrait. More than 20 years into his career, Lee Dong-wook remains the same. Elegant yet unpredictable, refined yet approachable. He reminds us that mystery is an art form. Silence can sometimes tell the most powerful story. And as the cameras slowly rolled, one question lingered in the minds of every viewer. Who is Lee Dong-wook, really? Before we move on to the next name in our list of stars who have the world guessing, tell us, where are you watching from? Because wherever you are, our goal remains the same: to share stories that inspire, connect, and spark meaningful conversations. Stories that remind us that even in a world that can't stop talking, mystery, silence, and beauty still have a voice. There are celebrities who chase the spotlight. And then there's Park Seo-joon, the man who quietly built an empire out of mystery. For more than a decade, audiences have been captivated by his natural charm, the way he turns a simple smile into a story, the way he carries heartbreak as if it were an art form. But behind that calm gaze is one of the most private lives in Korean entertainment. Park Seo-joon is the type of actor who doesn't need the spotlight. He's never been addicted to fame. Instead, fame has drawn him. With each drama, from What's Wrong with Secretary Kim to A Taiwan Class, he has become the nation's king of romantic comedy, a title he never sought, but which has somehow come to define him. Today, his estimated net worth is close to $35 million, and the man behind it remains a mystery. There is no social media chaos, no midnight scandals. While others share their every breath online, Park chooses silence. He rarely attends lavish parties, almost never posts about his private life. And for 12 years, he has kept his love life completely hidden from everyone. Fans often whisper, who is he really? Who has he been hiding all this time? Of course, rumors circulate, stories of secret relationships, questions about what he is protecting. But Park Seo-joon never argues, never explains. He does not confirm, does not deny. He just smiles, a quiet, knowing smile, as if to say, you can wonder, but you'll never really know. That mystery has become part of his legend. In a world where everyone shares too much, he remains a man of restraint. Maybe that's why Hollywood seeks him out, because there's a power in the quiet confidence that comes with it. As one of the first Korean stars of his generation to break into Hollywood, he's carried that calm, graceful quality across oceans. Even on red carpets around the world, under flashing lights, Park is Park. Elegant, calm, untouchable. People call him the actor who doesn't need to speak to be heard. Every glance, every pause carries an intention, as if he's still performing even after the cameras stop rolling. Fans don't just admire him, they study him, looking for clues, hints, something hidden behind that steady gaze. But maybe that's the point. Maybe the mystery is the truth. There's something poetic about a man who can capture the world's attention while barely saying anything. In an age where fame demands exposure, Park Seo-joon proves that silence can still be powerful, charm can still be gentle, and privacy can still be beautiful. He doesn't need to tell the world who he loves. He doesn't need to prove he's happy. His peace, his focus. His work, it's more powerful than any headline. As one critic wrote, Park Seo-joon doesn't need to reveal himself. His mystery makes him unforgettable. And maybe that's what draws us to him. Because behind every mystery, there's a mirror. reflecting not who he really is, but who we wish he was. Calm, confident, unfazed by the noise. A gentle reminder that sometimes the most compelling story is the one that hasn't been told. They say true charisma isn't a scream. It's a whisper. And in a noisy world, no one embodies that quiet power better than Gong Yoo. For nearly 2 decades, he's been walking the Korean entertainment industry as a shadow of elegance. Impenetrable, mysterious, and utterly charming. No scandals, no public displays of affection, no drama. Just that subtle, magnetic silence that draws people closer, trying to understand the man who never explains himself. Fans remember the first time they saw him, maybe as the gentle bartender in Coffee Prince or the immortal guardian in Goblin. But what they remember most is the feeling. That strange charisma, the calmness hidden behind his eyes. It's what the media calls the Gong Yoo effect, a mix of charm, loneliness, and something the camera can't quite capture. When Goblin aired, the chemistry between Gong Yoo and Lee Dong-wook was so natural. It broke the boundaries of conventional on-screen pairings. Their relationship, powerful, emotional, pure, has kept fans across Asia rooting for them for years. It's not just about romance, it's about how two energies meet and light up a story. Off-screen, Gong Yoo lives in a quiet world. No social media, no flashy lifestyle, no gossip about who he's dating. Just an actor who lets his work speak for him, and his silence raises questions. Reporters often joke, Gong Yoo doesn't need to speak, he just looks, and the world starts wondering. Behind that quiet charm lies a disciplined and thoughtful life. With an estimated net worth of $40 million, Gong Yoo could live a lavish life, but he chooses serenity. He spends his time by the beach, reading, exercising, and disappearing between projects. Each comeback feels like an event, not a routine. He once said in an interview, "Fame is not an ownership, it's a loan. I just try to pay back the interest with the effort I put in." For many, Gong Yoo represents that rarest of celebrities, one who maintains his mystery in an age where everything is exposed. He reminds us, you don't have to reveal everything to be authentic. Confidence can exist in silence. Elegance can mean knowing when to be silent. And so fans keep asking the same question. Who really lives in Gong Yoo's silence? Is he lonely or simply free? Careful or simply closed off? Maybe it's a secret we shouldn't know. Because some stars don't shine by shining, they shine by reflecting mystery. Gong Yoo doesn't chase the spotlight finds him. He is the calm in the storm, the untold chapter in the Hallyu story. And as the cameras fade, one question lingers in the air: who really has entered Gong Yoo's quiet world? There are actors whose fame goes further than words. And then there's Lee Min-ho, the man who turned mystery into an art form. For nearly 2 decades, Lee Min-ho has been a quiet storm in the heart of Korean entertainment. Calm, aloof, but impossible to ignore. His perfectly glowing face has become a global symbol of the Hallyu wave. From Boys Over Flowers to The King, Eternal Monarch, his eyes alone tell a story, one that millions try to read, but never really understand. He's been dubbed the man without scandals. 18 years in an industry that thrives on secrecy, and yet not a single controversy has tarnished his name. In a world where every move is monitored, every whisper is amplified, Lee Min-ho remains invulnerable, present everywhere yet present nowhere. Rumors have circulated for years, stories of secret relationships, questions about his private life, even speculation about his sexuality. But Lee never explains, never denies, never succumbs to noise. Silence has become his language, and his restraint, his strength. Some see it as distance, others as discipline. But to those who really observe, it resembles the calm of someone who knows exactly who he is. Behind that calm is a man of great accomplishment. With an estimated net worth of nearly $50 million, Lee Min-ho is more than just an actor. He's a global brand. His name sells luxury goods. His image moves nations. His influence transcends borders. Yet despite all that fame and fortune, he remains a mystery. No public romances. No oversharing on social media. No scandalous headlines. Just work and the silence that surrounds the man who makes it. Perhaps that's what secrecy is. In an age of oversharing, mystery is the ultimate luxury. Lee Min-ho learned that early on. He's built a fortress around his personal life, not out of fear, but out of purpose. Every role he plays, the cold prince, the stoic protector, the dreamer, is a true reflection of who he is. A man who gives just enough to be unforgettable, but never enough to be fully known. Fans around the world still wonder, who is he when the cameras are off? Does he love? Does he smile? Or just whisper? No one really knows. And maybe that's why the world continues to watch. 18 years at the top, no scandal, admired by millions. Lee Min-ho is more than just a star, he's a symbol of something rare. The grace of restraint in a world addicted to showmanship. His silence speaks. His silence shines, and his mystery continues to inspire endless fascination. Because sometimes, the most powerful stories are the ones that remain untold. What do you think of stars like Lee Min-ho? Men who keep their worlds hidden behind the screen. Subscribe to our channel and discover more stories that touch the heart, that intrigue, and celebrate the beauty of mystery. Because every legend begins with a secret. And perhaps that's where true inspiration lies. People call him Vampire Brother. 25 years in the spotlight, and yet, somehow, time has forgotten his face. No scandals, no new dating rumors, no drama. Just silence. In an industry that lives on noise, Seung-heon is silence. Beautiful, uncertain, and eternal. Born in 1976, he entered the Korean entertainment industry when youthful, charming looks dominated the screen. But he's more than just a handsome face. Behind those calm eyes is a man who seems to understand. Fame fades, but dignity remains. While others chase attention, he becomes a master of mystery. He spoke little, smiled softly, and disappeared whenever the noise got too loud. Fans began calling him the silent classic. Because when he walked into a room, people didn't scream, they stopped. It was as if the air itself knew it should be silent. That was Seung-heon, a man whose silence echoed more than 1,000 interviews. Over the years, rumors had spread about his relationships, his personal lives, even his identity. But what was the truth? He never answered. He never needed to answer. His silence wasn't evasion, it was strength. In a world that demanded confession, he remained unfathomable. He wasn't hiding, he was protecting sacred things. At over 45, he still looks flawless, his sharp jawline, his kind eyes, the quiet warmth behind his smile. Korean netizens joke that he must be sleeping in a time capsule because age can't get to him. But maybe the secret isn't magic, maybe it's peace. Maybe the quiet life he's built, away from scandal, gossip, and chaos, is what keeps him youthful. His net worth, estimated at over $30 million, but you'll never see him flaunt it. His success seems to be due to hard work, not acting. From top dramas like Autumn in My Heart to East of Eden, Seung-heon doesn't just act. He's grace incarnate. He doesn't follow trends. He defines them. A vivid reminder that true class never goes out of style. For over 2 decades, he's been a true gentleman of K-drama, elegant, calm, always composed. While others rise and fall with every rumor, he remains unfazed, like a picture behind glass. Maybe that's why fans from Seoul to Los Angeles whisper his name in silent admiration. Because we all know, mystery is powerful. And in Seung-heon's world, silence isn't empty. It's elegant. So what do you think of stars like him? People who don't need controversy to be unforgettable forever. Maybe it's time we celebrate those who choose grace over gossip and calm over chaos. If you love stories like this, authentic, human, and timeless, hit that subscribe button. We'll keep bringing you more voices, more mystery, and more meaning. Because sometimes the quietest stories are the ones that resonate most in our hearts. In the glamorous world of Korean entertainment, where fame is often measured by noise, one man has built his legend on silence. His name is Kim Rae-won. For over 20 years, he has been both charismatic and untouchable. An actor whose eyes seem to hold untold stories. A man who can make you feel a lifetime of heartache with just a glance. Fans call him the silent storm of Kdrama. Because when he's on screen, he doesn't have to shout to be heard. Unlike many of his peers, Kim Rae-won has never lived for the headlines. He doesn't chase the cameras. In fact, he seems to walk right past them. No public romances, no noisy controversies, no staged social media lives. In 2 decades in the spotlight, he has never once confirmed any romantic relationships. And that silence, a deliberate choice to keep the world guessing, has become his strongest statement. Of course, there have been whispers. Rumors swirl around him like fog. Stories about his quiet nature, his close friendships, and his almost invisible private life. Some say he might be protecting someone, others think he's protecting himself. But Kim Rae-won never answers. He smiles politely, nods, and moves on, as if the mystery itself is part of the performance. Those who have worked with him describe him as a warm and precise man, kind, but difficult to understand, they say. He's the type of guy who listens more than he talks. The guy who brings coffee to the crew before dawn, then disappears when the cameras stop rolling. He doesn't act for fame or glory, he acts because he has to. Because deep down, storytelling is the only language he truly trusts. Over the years, he's changed, from the soft-eyed boy in My Little Bride to the hard, cold detective in The First Responders. But one thing has never changed, his distance. The invisible line between his world and ours. Maybe that's why he draws us so deeply. Because in a culture obsessed with exposure, Kim Rae-won remains the ultimate enigma. He reminds us that silence can be powerful, that privacy can be art. Every gesture, every silence, every subtle smile carries an intention, as if he's creating a story, even when the cameras aren't rolling. To some, he's an enigma. To others, he's the embodiment of grace, proof that fame doesn't have to be loud. But to millions around the world, Kim Rae-won is something rarer. A man standing still, in a world that never stops moving. And maybe that's the secret. He doesn't hide out of fear. He hides because he understands. The moment you explain everything, the magic disappears. In his silence, we find the reason we can't look away. So whether you're watching from Seoul, Los Angeles, or anywhere else on Earth, remember this. Mystery isn't what you don't know. It's what you feel without needing an answer. Because in the end, Kim Rae-won doesn't need to tell us who he is. He simply shows us one quiet storm at a time. There are stars who shine because of their talent, and there are those who shine because of the aura they carry. Siwon Choi belongs to that rare second type, a man whose silence is more powerful than his fame. From the moment he appeared on stage with Super Junior, the world saw the image of a perfect gentleman, tall, calm, and elegant, as if he had just stepped out of a luxury brand's dream. But what was hidden behind that calm, confident smile has left millions of fans wondering for nearly 2 decades. Siwon was born into a prestigious family, a family whose name has made its mark in Seoul's business world. However, instead of flaunting that privilege, he chose humility. He practiced, he strived, he followed rules that most rich kids never needed. That's how the perfect idol was born, a disciplined air, a superstar with a polished appearance and a purpose in life. When Siwon turned to acting, he didn't just play the role, he became the character. From romantic dramas to political thrillers, he mastered the art of expressing his inner self. No scandals, no controversies, always calm, always cautious, like a man guided by invisible principles. And perhaps that's why his story feels so mysterious. He never flaunts his relationships, never confirms love rumors. However, his deep eyes and half-smile seem to whisper secrets. Is it loneliness? Or is it the deliberate choice of a man protecting a small, sacred part of his life, a part the world will never see? For years, whispers have surrounded him. Speculation about his private world, his sexuality, the possibility that the real Siwon might be far more complex than the man on screen. But he has never denied the rumors. He just smiles, gets back to work, and keeps working harder. In an industry addicted to noise, Siwon Choi has become a symbol of silence, a man so disciplined that even mystery succumbs. Today, his empire extends far beyond music and film. Through investments, global campaigns, and lavish endorsement deals, Siwon has quietly built a fortune of more than $50 million. Yet money has never defined him. He uses his influence for charitable causes, humanitarian causes, and child welfare campaigns. It's a perfect paradox, born rich, yet humble. Famous, yet reserved. Every gesture exudes thoughtfulness, yet deep sincerity. To many, he is Mr. Korea, a title that speaks of more than just beauty or charm. It represents the elegance of restraint, the confidence of kindness, and the mystery of a man who could have it all, but still chooses grace. Perhaps that's why audiences can't take their eyes off him. Because Siwon Choi reminds us, perfection doesn't come from revealing everything. It comes from knowing what to keep hidden. In a world obsessed with showmanship, he has mastered the art of secrecy and turned mystery into a masterpiece. We may never know the full truth behind that radiant smile, but perhaps that is the magic of Siwon Choi, the man who doesn't need to say a word for the world to hear. In the glamorous world of Korean entertainment, where every glance can spark a rumor and every silence can become a headline, few stars have mastered the art of enigma quite like Park Hae-jin. He's a man who smiles with restraint, speaks only when necessary, yet somehow says it all without a word. For nearly 2 decades, Park Hae-jin has drifted through fame like a ghost in daylight, visible, loved, but never truly known. Fans first fell in love with him through roles that mirrored his real-life aura. Reserved, intelligent, mysterious. But behind the screen lies a story that has captivated millions. A story of privacy, discipline, and quiet generosity. Rumors have followed him like shadows, whispers about his sexuality, theories of hidden love, questions no one can answer. Yet Park never denies, never confirms, he just smiles, as if mystery itself were part of his act. What makes him so magnetic is not scandal, it's the absence of it. In an industry often rocked by controversy, Park Hae-jin remains calm, polished like a mirror. For nearly 20 years, he has never once confirmed a relationship. No girlfriend, no boyfriend, just silence and work. When asked why, he once said softly, "I'm too focused on my work to think about dating." Simple words, yet behind them lies a lifetime of discipline. While others chase love beneath the spotlight, Park chases perfection in his craft. Off-screen, he quietly built an empire. They call him the king of real estate. Apartments, entire buildings in the heart of Seoul, worth more than $8 million. But he never bragged, never showed off. His wealth wasn't luxury, it was protection. A way to guard the peaceful life he values most. And then, there's his heart. In 10 years, he's donated over $1.5 million to charities, often without anyone knowing. From helping underprivileged children to funding schools, Park gives the way he lives, silently. That's what makes him different. While some stars demand attention, Park Hae-jin commands it through absence. He's like still water. You feel the power beneath, but never see its full depth. Fans call him the man behind the mask, a man who hides not from fear, but from choice. To some, that mask is alluring. To others, unsettling. Who is he when the cameras stop rolling? What truth hides behind those calm eyes? Perhaps mystery itself is the answer. Because in a world obsessed with exposure, privacy can be an act of rebellion. Every story about him ends with a question mark, not a period. And maybe that's why he continues to shine, because while others reveal too much, he reveals just enough to keep us wondering. On the stage of fame, Park Hae-jin doesn't perform for applause, he performs for meaning. And that, more than gossip or glory, is what makes him unforgettable. So tonight, as we explore the lives of Korea's most fascinating stars, remember this sometimes: the loudest voice in the room belongs to the one who never speaks. And that's our look at 10 of South Korea's most admired and most mysterious leading men. For years, gay rumors have surrounded them, not because of scandal, but because of the way they live. Quiet, private, untouchable. Maybe the truth doesn't matter. Maybe the mystery is what makes them unforgettable. Because in the end, love doesn't always need to be shown, and silence can be the loudest answer of all. If today's video intrigued you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more deep dives into the secrets, stories, and rumors behind Korea's biggest stars. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, every mystery hides a truth, and sometimes that truth is never meant to be found.